So apparently, the people who brought you the 1950s want a reboot. Only this time, they've got Wi-Fi, facial recognition, and zero interest in women having autonomy. Hey everyone, it's Dani. And tonight, on the ADHD Medium Commentary, we're pulling apart something that sounds like a political thriller, but it's very real. It's called Project 2025, a 900-page playbook for remaking the U.S. government from the inside out. We'll look at what it is, where we are now, and how this shutdown fits right into the plan, because this isn't about panic, it's about perspective, and the power that comes from seeing the pattern before it hits your front door. When you know it's coming, you can plant your feet and meet chaos without getting knocked flat. What is it? Project 2025 comes from the Heritage Foundation, a powerful right-wing think tank that's been writing Republican policy playbooks since the Reagan years. This one is different. It isn't a wish list, it's a manual for a takeover. The goal is to replace tens of thousands of career civil servants with political loyalists, to strip independent agencies like the EPA, FTC, and FCC of their autonomy so they answer directly to the president, and to infuse every federal policy area, education, healthcare, science, defense, with a single religious moral worldview. They even created what they call a presidential personal academy. Think of it as a training camp for the next wave of appointees who will move into those civil service roles the minute they're vacant. Their mantra is personnel is policy. Translation, if you control the people who write the rules, you control the rules themselves. You don't need new laws, you just change who enforces the old ones. And here's the quiet part. They're open about it. This is all public. The Heritage Foundation has an entire document online, and they've been hosting training events for years. So the blueprint isn't a secret. It's a to-do list already in progress. Where we are now, not in theory, not projection. Analysts say roughly 55% of the Project 2025 agenda is already underway. Executive orders have pulled so-called independent agencies under direct White House oversight. The return of Schedule F means tens of thousands of federal employees can be fired for policy disagreement. Federal DEI and civil rights training programs were defunded within days of the new administration taking office. Title IX protections for LGBTQ+ students and workers rolled back. Agencies like HSS and EPA have been ordered to realign funding priorities. In other words, this isn't something that might happen one day. It's already happening in the fine print of policy memos, staffing changes, and budget reviews you never see on the nightly news. The blueprint isn't waiting for approval. It's being installed quietly while everyone else argues about the latest headline, the shutdown play. Here's where the government shutdown fits in. Inside Washington, the official line is budget impasse, but inside the actual memos, it's called something else, an opportunity. The Office of Management and Budget literally told agencies to use this opportunity to evaluate positions not consistent with the president's priorities. That's not budgeting language, that's purge language. A shutdown does more than stop paychecks. It freezes oversight, stalls investigations, and opens the door to reorganize agencies in ways that would normally be challenged or delayed. When the lights go out, the rewiring begins. It's the perfect smokescreen. The public sees chaos, workers fight for back pay, and meanwhile, leadership quietly trims unnecessary programs, reassigns watchdogs, and replaces career staff with loyal appointees. A shutdown doesn't stop government, it rebuilds it, quietly, while everyone's busy trying to survive the outage. And this is where it gets personal, because this isn't just about agencies and executive orders, it's about control. The kind that shows up in your paycheck and your pantry. When you cut jobs, lower pay, make employment conditional on political loyalty, you don't need new laws to control people. You control them through survival. If speaking up could cost you your income or health care, you don't need to be silent. You'll silence yourself. That's economic leverage turned into behavioral control. By stripping labor protections and pushing more workers into gig or contract jobs, the plan creates exhaustion, and exhaustion equals compliance. Then comes the safety net squeeze. Cut SNAP, Medicaid, housing assistance, unemployment programs, and people are forced to depend on private or faith-based charities that often carry the same ideology behind Project 2025. Dependency replaces rights. Healthcare becomes another leash. When coverage depends on your employer or when reproductive and gender-affirming care vanish, people stay quiet just to keep their insurance. And finally, information control. Defund PBS, NPR, academic grants, and you shrink those spaces where verified information circulates. Now people are working longer hours, earning less, and hearing fewer independent voices. That's not governance. It's management by fear. And it works because fear is cheap and incredibly efficient. Checks and balances on life support. Courts are supposed to act like the brakes. But when hundreds of executive actions hit at once, even the judiciary stalls. Every delay lets another rule harden into reality. Congress still holds the purse strings, but each time it blinks first during a shutdown, those strings get shorter. The branches of government are supposed to balance each other like a three-legged stool. Right now, the executive has a saw, and the other two legs are pretending it's still furniture. Checks and balances aren't gone yet, but they're bleeding out slowly while everyone argues about procedure. The social reboot. Underneath the bureaucracy sits a cultural project, a reset to a version of America that only ever existed on old postcards. It's the 1950s re-engineered, a country where Christian nationalism defines the moral code, men lead, women serve, and profit outweighs public health. Environmental protections, gender equality, scientific research, all labeled woke, then quietly defunded or dismantled. What they call returning to traditional values isn't about virtue. It's about control wrapped in nostalgia. It romanticizes a past that was comfortable for a few, not safe for the many, and it uses policy to make that illusion real. What's next, according to the plan? According to the Heritage Foundation's own documents, the next phase includes finalizing Schedule F, so tens of thousands of federal jobs can flip by 2026, consolidating agencies under direct presidential control, launching a nationwide Education Freedom Act that ties federal funding to loyalty-based curriculum standards, rewriting reproductive health and gender policies through HHS rulemaking instead of legislation, and stacking the judiciary with another wave of ideological appointments to lock it all in. That's their roadmap, and we're already more than halfway down it. What you can do now. Here's what matters most. What you can actually do right now. Don't just doom scroll. Use your voice. Call your representatives. Tell them you're paying attention. Thank the ones holding the line. They need to hear that their courage matters. If others cave, hold them accountable, politely but publicly. Support journalists, creators, and advocates who keep these stories visible. Lawmakers can cave to pressure, but they also respond to support. Every call, every email, every thank you for standing firm makes them a little braver. Because if they fold now, the pain millions have endured during the shutdown will have been for nothing. We can't control every move in DC, but we can remind them who they work for. So, where does that leave us? Right here, awake, grounded, and steady. The point isn't to panic, it's to prepare. When you know what's coming, you can stand still in the chaos. You can feel the wind and still keep your balance. That is how we outlast manipulation, with clarity, calm, and community. Project 2025 is a plan, but awareness and participation are the counterplan. If this helped you connect the dots, share it. Comment below and watch my next video with Miss Vicki, the Naked Medium, where we look at what Spirit says will actually unfold from here. I'm Dani, and this is the ADHD Medium Commentary. Stand still, stay awake, keep them accountable. The storm passes when enough of us stop running from it.